Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander Score Studio. Welcome to the show. So, super early Lord of the Rings spoiler season, or quick first look, or whatever Wizards calls it, is here, and so is Radagast. And when I first saw this card, I was like, wait, what? Who is this? And then I remembered, from like the Hobbit movies or whatnot, which I think I only watched like briefly, and I've watched Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, like a ton. But yeah, I was like, who is this again? And then I remembered, hey, it's that one wizard that absolutely loves animals. So go figure. Radagast, Wizard of Wilds, is the card that is going to be in the Lord of the Rings set. Very fitting for this character. And yeah, comment below on how I'm not a real Lord of the Rings fan because I don't know all the history of this and this. And yes, I know Radagast is mentioned in the books. And yeah. Okay, I know. I'm not as big of a fan as you. That's okay. Anyways, 3/5 Avatar Wizard with Ward 1 that costs 2 green blue. Beasts and birds you control have Ward 1. Whenever you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, choose 1. Create a 3/3 green beast creature token, or create a 2/2 blue bird creature token with flying. So a very interesting commander design. That little Ward 1 might seem insignificant, but it is actually a deterrent for your opponents actually targeting your stuff, including the commander, which is nice to have protection built on the commander. And again, protection built on, well, if you go, bird tribal or beast tribal or both tribal, all of those birds and beasts, including the ones that you're going to be creating as well. I mean, you can literally just not even have any birds or beasts in your deck if you really don't want, and you can just go big spell tribal, right? If you're just casting spells that have a mana value of 5 or greater, you can make a lot of beasts and birds throughout the game. Then again, the birds are evasive. They're both protected by that Ward 1. It can be an effective way to make an army. And yeah, there's some really exciting things that you can do with this commander. Again, when it comes to Simic commanders, I am typically excited to see ones that are not just, hey, play lands. Hey, draw some cards. Simic! Yeah, I much prefer the off-the-wall ones, and this is definitely an off-the-wall one. Bird, Beast, Tribal, let's go. So yeah, Bird Beast, and high mana cost Tribal. Or just, high mana cost tribal. Regardless, you can do some pretty exciting things with this one. I do think a lot of players out there are going to be excited about it. Again, many Simic fans out there, many Simic fans, that also want something new like this. So if you are interested in this commander, well, I'm going to be taking you through some budget buys, cards that are less than $1, cards that are within my budget that I'm going to be considering for this commander, and also pricier picks, cards that are outside of my budget that you might want to consider too, cards that are more than $1. And, yeah, if you are interested in this commander, make sure you check out that card list link in the description below, because when new exciting commanders like this one are spoiled, well, sometimes cards that work well with them tend to go up in price sooner rather than later. So yeah, make sure you check that out and consider picking some up. And now with all that said, let's jump into Radagast's budget buys. So this first card takes me back a long time ago, back to my childhood. I started off right around Onslaught, and yeah, Wirewood Savage. I mean, definitely a good card for Beast Tribal. My goodness. Whenever a beast enters the battlefield, you may draw a card. Some weird things about this one. Number one, I mean, actually, it's not really all that weird that it doesn't mention non-token, but yeah, specifically, it does not mention non-token, so that is fantastic, especially for this commander, because again, anytime you cast a spell with mana value 5 or greater, if you choose Beast, you are going to be also drawing a card, because again, the beast will come into play, you'll draw a card. Great. On top of that, though, if your opponents happen to be playing any beasts or any changelings, you also draw a card, and that is a very interesting thing, again, because typically, these kinds of effects, these kinds of triggers are limited to just your creatures. So you can just get some, supplemental card draw from your opponents potentially throughout the game as well, thanks to this. Next up, Krosan Warchief. If you are going more into the beast theme with this one, beast spells you cast cost 1 to cast. That is great cost reduction. Again, helping you cast some bigger spells and still getting, the advantages from your commander, but also, spending less mana on that. On top of that, pay 1 to green, regenerate target beast. That can be a great way to protect your beast as well. Or if your beast is going to bite the dust, well, you might as well just, get some extra benefit out of them too. Sacrifice a beast you gain 4 life, comes on Ravenous Baloth, a great beast. So yeah, gain some life. Maybe you have some life gain shenanigans in there too, potentially. But yeah, there are definitely ways to take advantage of the beast that you're going to be potentially casting, the beast that you're going to be making. You can definitely lean more heavily into beasts if you want, or birds, or again, mana value. If you potentially are leaning more heavily into birds, Airborne Aid is a great card. Draw a card for each bird in play. Again, do keep in mind, this does count your opponent's birds as well. Yeah, they changed a lot of those kinds of effects over time, but back then, and I think this was also an Onslaught, they did not. So yeah, draw a lot of cards for just 4 mana potentially. Again, if you go more heavily into birds, or if you're going to be picking that bird option more often, you can draw a ton for just 4 mana. Speaking of drawing cards, you can draw even more cards with Thunderous Snapper, which unfortunately, although it does look like a beast, is actually a Turtle Hydra. So yeah, apparently not a beast though. Whenever you cast a spell with converted mana cost 5 or greater, draw a card. So again, if you are leaning heavily into, higher mana value spells, which is the direction I would probably take it, you would be getting additional card advantage every single time you cast one of those spells on top of the tokens that you're going to be making. And speaking of additional card advantage, a fantastic card for this commander is Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty, a commander herself, but great in combination with this one, Cascade, and on top of that, spells you cast with converted mana cost 6 or greater have Cascade. So it doesn't exactly, align, with the 5 mana value for our commander. This one says 6. Truth be told, it's probably not going to matter. You're probably going to have a good amount of spells that cost 6 or greater, so it's going to meet both requirements. You're going to be able to make a token as well as, get some great Cascade value. One that does line up, though, in a fantastic way, though, is Thrix the Sudden Storm, a 5 mana value card itself that has flash and flying and says spells you cast with mana cost 5 or greater cost 1 less to cast and can't be countered. So basically, hey, basically a lot of the spells you're going to be casting, with this kind of a deck are uncounterable. And yeah, they cost less too. Isn't that nice? And also, you can just flash this in for a trigger as well from your commander, or again, a trigger from, Thunder Snapper, etc., etc., etc. There's a lot of exciting things that you can do with something like this. Speaking of exciting, Frozen Drover from back in, what is that, Scourge? I mean, one of these sets that I played when I was younger. Anyways, creature spells you cast with converted mana cost 6 or greater cost 2 less to cast. So yeah, if you've got a lot of high mana value creatures, which you very well might in a deck like this, reduce that cost by a ton. Speaking of reducing cost, Junk Winder can be great in this kind of a deck. A brutally awesome card. 7 mana value in total. So, yep, meets your requirement for your commander. Affinity for tokens. So this can cost less based on the number of tokens you control. And again, you're going to be making a lot of tokens. So this can cost just 2 mana. And it says whenever a token enters battlefield under control, tap target non-land permanent opponent controls. It doesn't untap target controller's next untap step. Again, you're going to be making a lot of tokens. So you can shut your opponent's non-land permanents down with this quite easily. So yeah, Junk Winder can definitely be an incredible card with this kind of a commander. But now let's go on to the pricier picks, and my goodness are these cards pricey. Doubling Season, Parallel Lives, Primal Vigor. If I don't mention these, I get yelled at in the comments below. No, I did not forget about them. It's just that they're very obvious. Okay, yeah, commanders that make tokens, they double up their tokens. Yes, it's powerful. Yes, these cards are good. Yes, these cards see play in a ton of decks because, well, there's a lot of commanders out there that like tokens, and doubling your tokens is very powerful. There's a reason why these cards are incredibly expensive. I don't recommend spending $50 on a card, but if you want to go for it, go for it. Sure, why not? Anyways, next cards. And now for some more interesting cards than those. Metallurgic Summoning, Shark Typhoon, and Beastmaster Ascension. Some other great cards. Oh, Metallurgic Summonings. I remember when you were budget friendly and now you're not again. Please get reprinted. Anyways, whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, get an XX colors construct, artifact, creature token, or X that spell's mana value. Again, if you've got those instant sorceries that are going to be high converted mana cost spells, you get benefits again from all the other things that we've talked about so far, including our commander. And now with this as well, making even more tokens. And you can also exile this to get, your instant sorceries back to your hand if you've got 6 more artifacts, so that's nice too. Speaking of nice, Shark Typhoon. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, so even less specific than Metallurgic Summonings, you get an XX blue shark creature token with flying, because sharks fly, where X that spell's converted mana cost. So again, big spells help out a lot with this. You could also cycle this away to make a singular shark, but yeah. Get it into play, make some massive flying sharks. Gotta love it. Beastmaster Ascension. Whenever a creature you control attacks, you may put a quest counter on Beastmaster Ascension. As long as it's got 7 more counters on it, which is incredibly easy to get to, especially a commander that can make a ton of tokens, creatures you control get +5/+5. So again, talking about all these other, giant token makers, that's nice. With our commander, though, our beasts now are going to be 8/8s. Our birds are going to be 7/7s with flying. Good luck to your opponents. And especially good luck to them if we get the Immortal Sun into play. Here we go. Let your artifact. Players can activate Planeswalker's loyalty abilities. Yeah, you know your Super Friends commander over there? Yeah, they very much like. Let's shut it down. Let's shut their deck down. Goodbye. Anyways, at the beginning of your draw step, draw an additional card. Lovely. Spells you cast cost 1 to cast. Awesome. Creatures you control get ++1. So yeah, I mean, the first one, you know, the Planeswalker one, might not be all that relevant in a lot of situations. It can definitely be very relevant in certain decks. The rest of them, though, are incredible effects, each of which can really help out with this commander. And again, the Immortal Sun itself costs 6, so yeah. Having that high converted mana cost can help out with a lot of things we've talked about, again, including our commander. The Great Henge, another great card that is incredibly expensive. I think this card's like $80 last time I checked. Yeah, 9 mana, but it's going to cost X less to cast for X of the greatest power when creatures you control. And again, got plenty of ways to make some creatures that can reduce that a lot. Tap for 2, gain 2 life. Whenever a non-token creature in the battlefield under your control, get a counter on it, draw a card, so you can get some extra benefits from your other creatures as well. And yeah, a cost reduction spell like this can really help you out. Again, if you've got these kinds of spells that might have a high converted mana cost, but you can cast for cheaper, then you can get those big benefits without paying the big price. Speaking of which, Riskkar's Expertise. You're paying 6 for it, yep, but you're getting a big benefit. Draw cards equal to the greatest power among creatures you control, which can be a lot. And on top of that, you can cast a spell with mana value 5 or less from your hand without paying its mana cost. So again, being able to cast an extra spell for free, extra value for free, what's not to love? Overall, a very interesting commander. Again, I do like seeing Simic commanders that aren't just land, draw, cool. Yeah, I like to see a little bit of a differentiation on there. And this is definitely different. Bird, beast, tribal, or big spell tribal, or a combination of all those. Definitely an interesting commander. One that, again, does protect your birds and beasts, helps you make a lot of them as well. And again, a character that I was like, wait, who? Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that wizard dude, like Gandalf, but it's really into the forest and stuff. So yeah, that one. Anyways, if you are interested in this commander, make sure you check out my card list link in the description below and consider picking up some of these cards sooner rather than later, because again, when new exciting cards like this one are spoiled, sometimes cards that work well with it go up in price, even though this card is not going to be coming out until like June. Regardless, make sure you're staying tuned to this channel for even more exciting quick takes and spoilers coming out. And with that, today's episode is coming to a close, so yeah, let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments below, and of course, as always, thanks again, and have a good one. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. We also have a ton of brand new t-shirt designs in stock, so make sure you check out those as well. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all of their support.